Good afternoon, YouTube family. This is Iris. Today is July 19th, 2026, and I want to share with you what I was honored to share with my community. This is our today's edition of participating in the Eastside Garden Walk. This is our front landscape, what we offer to our community as curb appeal, but what also serves for us as rest and relaxation on our porch and front yard area. So this is where we relax a little and have some fun in the mornings. My mom likes to sit out here and then part in the sun because it's the conclusion of the garden walk. But we greeted our visitors with a reflection of how the property started back when we first purchased it, how an example of the trees have grown. You can zoom into that. And then we also have quilts on display, which is part of my grandmother's time with us in the summer. So this is part of my shaded garden, and as you can see, it's 5 o'clock in the evening and it is partially shaded, with the elephant ears becoming and all of the gladiolas saying hello world. It was a nice presentation for the garden walk today. Some of the fun components of the garden walk you can see with the few things I'll highlight. So this is every day I go through these spider webs and say, please do your job, catch the mosquitoes. But these are my hens and chicks, and these are the parents of our welcome foliage, right? But of these hens and chicks. And every year they just keep giving. So I love the hens and chicks. And then we'll go into our tree line. The arborvitaes continue to offer our green privacy wall. But, and those of you who've watched my videos know that our neighbor cut the underfoliage down. When they demolished their garage, they used these cinder blocks as their own little privacy fence. But this, I believe, is where the deer are coming in. And boy, have they given me a time. So we're still taking advantage of as many perennials as possible. I'll go slowly so it doesn't seem like I'm spinning. But then here comes the oasis that we love and enjoy. For the garden walk, we often display the heritage of the gardener. So I'm an African-American gardener. If I was Catholic, I'd probably have St. Mary or St. Peter statues in the garden. But I am a quilter, so I have the beginning of my quilting experiences as a kid illustrated with my husband's first quilting request. So my grandmother took us under her wing when we would spend the summers with her and taught us how to quilt, and it shows up in my garden. An example of which would be this week's quilting completion is this underbelly. Now, some time ago, I've illustrated with you guys how much fun I have doing these umbrellas. And now that I've completed grad school, I'm more able to complete orders for the umbrellas. But guys, when I tell you there is nothing like this custom made experience in the garden, I thank God all the time for the opportunity to share my craft with others. So when people come to our garden walk, they see these quilts, the Huckleberry quilt, the original umbrella that caused this creativity to occur. That was God, I believe, that took that wind and flew that umbrella over the fence and into the neighbor's yard. But this is the most eclectic of all the umbrellas. And then each umbrella on our property has a unique custom-made shading opportunity. So this is what the garden looks like for the 2026 Eastside Garden Walk. It was so much fun. I enjoyed every moment of it. Even with the late stragglers that came, it's always fun to share the craft of gardening in addition to your craft of quilting. So it was such a pleasure to be able to share the authenticity of creativity. And it never stops. Whatever you love doing. Some people like working with metal. Some people like crocheting. It shows up in everything you do in the garden as well. And we show our African artistry in our garden. So I salute all those who bring their unique skill sets into their gardening space. It's so much fun. So one of the signs for this year's garden walk says, yes, I really do need all these plants. As we enter the edible garden, you see that this year we've invested in some tree covers for our raised beds, as Bambi and her friends like to go ahead and see what they find palatable. And then our pollinators were getting nibbled on, so we kept those guys covered. And then inside here, we keep shielded because that cabbage moth wants my collard greens. I'll give you guys a quick peek into this sheltered covering because she has been out and about today. But that's all of our collards and kale and eggplant, and it's been really great to just be able to come and obtain what we're looking for. And then we just keep it closed because we don't want to cause any damage to those brassicas. But this is our fruit tree section of the edible garden. And then again, it's 2 apple trees. Now the deer have been back here, so 2 pear trees, and then 2 of the cherry trees. And then this is my favorite space in the garden, considering how it reflects the metamorphosis. But just look at that view. I encourage everybody, if you have the opportunity to put your hands in the soil, bring your craftsmanship to your hobbies, you can't help but make something beautiful. So all those that were able to come out to the Eastside Garden Walk, I thank you. And I hope to see you again on next year as we explore what 2027 offers in the metamorphosis of this garden. Thank you and have a great day.